Now let's look at introducing a while loop. So let's comment this out. And let's say we wanted to run over a value. Let's say we wanted to change the value, and let's stick with this value A. So let's say we wanted to change the value of A and in a sense reuse that variable a couple of times. So let's say we set A to be 5 to begin with, and then we use the while statements here. So we can say while A is less than, while A is more than 1, then execute this code block. So in this code block, we'll console log the value of A. So we know that A will enter here with a value of 5. This check will run. It will find A, yes, A is more than 1. So 5 is more than 1. So that means it's valid. So the while loop, in effect, if you just look at what the name says, it's while this condition is met, execute this code. So as long as A is more than 1, keep console logging A. And if you run it like this, you can see that A will actually enter what's called an infinite loop. So this code block will keep running. So with the code like this, A will just keep, A will still stay as 5. There's nothing about this code block that's going to change the value of A. So A being 5 all the time will cause this code block to run all the time. Because the way the while loop works is that the condition is checked here the first time you enter, then it runs this code block, and then after running this code block, it will go back to the check, and it will check this again. It will find A is still more than 1, so it will go ahead and run this, and then when it goes back again, it still finds A is more than 1, so it runs that again. So the while loop will return back to the condition check and then execute the code block. So to prevent an infinite loop, we can see that we do need to modify the value of A, right? According to the way that we've set this up here, that's the only check. Then we can say here, A equals A minus 1. So now we can see that A enters as 5. It will log out the 5. But then A decreases to a 4, then the 4 is still more than 1, so it will print a 4, and then it will reduce the value again to a 3. 3 is still more than 1, then 2 is still more than 1. Then at some point, A does equal 1, and then when A equals 1, A is no longer greater than 1, so we don't expect it to show us a value of 1 here. So let's run this. And we can see 5, 4, 3, 2, and then A reaches a value of 1, and then the condition is false, and so it will execute what lies out here. And so, for instance, if out here we had console.log loop completed, if we run this, you can see that the compiler hasn't released us from this loop. It hasn't run through this once and then gone on to the next thing. So we are not seeing loop completed here, right? So as long as this condition is true, it will keep running here. And only after this condition is false will it exit this loop and go on to execute the next statements in the program. So the while loop is active. It repeats itself all these times. And then finally it's false, and then it exits, and then the next statement says, just show that the loop is completed. So that's your while loop.